This is not conservative republicanism. This is stupidity. The idea that we're going to shut the government down when we don't control the Senate, we don't control the White House. These people can't define a win. They don't know how to take yes for an answer. It's a clown show. You keep running lunatics, you're going to be in this position.
I've got to say that hurts, and it hurts because that's what people said about me years ago. That was Republican Congressman Mike Lawler of New York criticizing his conference's actions regarding government funding. As of this morning, it appears a new bill to fund the government may be gaining traction among Republicans, but ultimately the Republican-controlled House and democratically controlled Senate will have to compromise on a bill to send President Biden to sign to avoid a shutdown. Let's bring it right now. Republican Congressman Mike Lawler of New York. Mike, thanks so much for being with us. I really wasn't joking. Like what you said about some of your Republican colleagues, people said about many of us back in the shutdown of early, I think it was 1996. But we learned very quickly there was no good end game to government shutdowns. It always blows up in Republicans' faces politically. It's always a loser, and they know that. So what's going on here?
Well, that's exactly right, Joe. And, yesterday we had about 3-hour conference meeting, basically, for Seinfeld fans, Festivus, an airing of the grievances. And everybody had the opportunity to have their say, including myself. And I made the point, yes, I will sign a discharge petition. But if given no alternative and no choice, I didn't come here to shut the government down. I came here to govern. Joe, I was in the permanent minority of the New York State Assembly. And yeah, I voted against budget bills and I voted against the crazy policies out of New York. But I ran to be in Congress, to be in the majority and to make a difference for my district, my state, and our country. And so as I said to my colleagues yesterday, at a minimum, we have to be able to compromise within our conference, put forth a House position, and then negotiate with the Senate. It's a pretty basic concept and basically how our government is supposed to function.
Congressman, good morning. So for the layman, for people who don't get to sit in those rooms where you were, that caucus meeting yesterday, for example, can you explain what's going on here? Because we're hearing about defense appropriation bills and CRs and the bigger fiscal budget. What exactly are the dynamics at play, and why are we pushing up so close to a government shutdown?
Well, we have a September 30th deadline, obviously, to pass appropriations and keep the government funded. In the absence of passing these appropriation bills, we need to pass a continuing resolution, which, generally speaking, keeps the spending levels flat, remaining at current levels for a month or, however long necessary, so that we can pass the appropriations bills and come to an agreement. Now, in the past, previous Congresses, including under Nancy Pelosi, they were blowing right past the September 30th deadline. They were doing omnibus packages, throwing everything into one bill. What we're trying to do is ultimately get back to regular order, pass individual appropriations bills, negotiate with the Senate, and come up with a final package. We are going to obviously, most likely, barring some miracle, miss the September 30th deadline to pass all these appropriations bills. So we need a continuing resolution. And what I have said to my colleagues is we can fight it out on top-line numbers with the Senate, on policy riders with the Senate, but there's no reason to shut the government down while those negotiations are ongoing. It could take a month, it could take 2 months to get through the appropriations process. Ideally, yes, we would have had all these appropriations bills passed. But let's be realistic here. That hasn't happened in this place in decades. So we need to go through regular order. We need to continue to fund the government. I don't want to screw around with people's 401ks in the stock market. I don't want to have our active duty military not getting paid. We have a responsibility to make sure that the government continues to function while we are negotiating through the appropriations process. And look, let's be clear. Voters elected a House Republican majority to serve as a check and balance, to fight it out on spending, to rein in the size and scope of government. I believe in that. We have to do it.
So, Congressman, by my count, there are 18 Republican members who were elected in districts in states that Joe Biden won. What would a government shutdown do to your own chances of getting re-elected next year and to the Republicans' chances of holding on to the majority in the House?
Look, I'm not too worried about my chances of re-election. We're doing the work in our district. This is a district, as you said, Biden won by 10 points. There's 70,000 more Democrats than Republicans. But I've shown up in every community. I talk to my voters. I'm very direct and blunt and explain exactly what's going on. And we're doing the work on the ground. So I'm not too worried there. What I am worried about is the impact on the American people that a shutdown would have. And mind you, by the way, we're not saving any money if we shut down. We're just going to have to pay interest on the money that we spent during that time period. So it'll end up costing the American people more if we shut down.
Congressman Lawler, in addition to a potential shutdown, you also will next week have the first hearing on an impeachment inquiry. I imagine this is probably not particularly popular in your district as well. How are you and the other sort of Biden Republicans, as they're referred to, managing the prospect of that kind of unpopular inquiry as well?
Look, these investigations obviously started earlier this year in oversight and judiciary. They are continuing, as I have said repeatedly. We are not there yet with impeachment. There is a very high bar. It should not be political. It should not be tit for tat. And the facts and the evidence will determine what, if any, steps are taken after this. At the end of the day, a lot of this is semantics. It's a continuation of the investigation. The ultimate question is whether or not the facts or evidence would bear out that Joe Biden somehow financially benefited from his son's deals with Russian oligarchs, Ukrainian oligarchs, Romanian business folks, and the Chinese. If that's the case, obviously the facts and evidence will show that. And if it's not, then I don't see how you get anywhere near impeachment.
All right, Republican Congressman Mike Lawler of New York, thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. We appreciate it.